Welcome to the Recycle Podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts, Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
Dr. LaFanya Jones-Hines,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapist.
What we will be is informative, down to earth, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up your volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to session 83, Movie Mental Breakdown, Girls Trip 2017.
Yay. Y'all know it's Movie Mental Breakdown. We need to have like a little jingle for it's Movie Mental Breakdown.
I know.
It's Movie Mental Breakdown. Or something. And I literally just realized I didn't get any of the actress names for this film. Luckily, I know most of them. The husband to Ryan. I don't have his name. I don't know his name.
Stewart.
Even though that's not
his real name. I know his name is Stewart in the movie.
Right.
Let me pull that up.
But while Dr. Wall is doing that, so we have the Flossy Posse played by Queen Latifah as Sasha. We have Jada Pinkett Smith plays Lisa. Dina is played by Tiffany Haddish. And Ryan is played by Regina Hall, not Regina King. And we have
Stewart, who is played by Mike Colter.
Mike Colter. Okay, I'm going to have to try to remember that. Larenz Tate plays Julian. Young thing.
Why Larenz Tate still look like himself from Love Jones, which was 13,000 years ago?
Yeah, I was looking at him like, oh, Jesus, he doesn't age.
Dude, like whatever Kool-Aid you drink, I want that Kool-Aid.
Hey, they say that's what happens when you live a stress-free life and you stay, you mind your own business.
You know what I'm saying? That's
you don't age.
Exactly. Yes.
So a young thing was played by Kofi Siriboe.
His name is Malik.
Oh, see, I didn't even
in
know
the movie.
I just called him Young Thing the whole time.
I called him 21.
And
we also have Elizabeth, who's played by Kate Walsh. And then the trifling Simone is played by Deborah Ayorinde.
Okay, so, and then of course there's a lot of celebrity, but they play themselves. So they don't have any names in there. Now, what I will say is I forgot how much I like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, look at them, Flossy Posse. And I like this beginning, how it showed them in college and just being girls and having fun and doing their thing and, doing the dances. And I was like, oh man, the early 90s, like, okay. But I did appreciate that they showed the progression of their friendship, where they ended up in their careers. And they gave a very brief kind of overview on how having friendships over a long period of time and over long distance starts to change things within the dynamics of a group.
I feel like that was very realistic to how friendships can actually go. As you continue to grow and live your life and life happens, you get in your career. I felt like that was a good depiction of how friendships actually can go.
Mm-hmm. And how they tried to keep it going, because they would go to Essence every few years, they would link up and try to go to Essence and do something. But, as things, sounds like these ladies in their 40s, the way they kind of described it.
Late 30s, early 40s.
Well, if they was in the college in the 90s, they probably, if they graduated from college in the 90s, it was probably in their 40s. But that life gets in the way, and if you're not diligent and intentional about keeping that friendship going, it will just kind of fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
Especially if you have something
different state. Because I couldn't tell if I guess they didn't, because they ended up at the same airport. But even still, in real life, especially if you move to different states and things like that, it's easy to kind of just fizzle out that friendship.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's about being purposed and being intentional. If you want to continue to have friendships, they don't just stay just to be staying.
No, you have to work on them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like a marriage. It's just a marriage that not legal.
Yeah.
That's where you get part of your love from.
Mm-hmm. There was another part of the opening scene that kind of struck me as well, which I think was a testament to some of the later portions of the movie. Mm-hmm. Was when Ryan and Stewart were at the radio station. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he said was that Ryan's strength has always been making others be their best selves.
Yeah.
And I was like, this kind of just talks about a lot of various sessions that we've talked about before, about people putting themselves in the background and not self-advocating.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it made me think about this post that I saw online, and I can't remember if it was somebody else said it or they shared some other post, but it was talking about eating your teeth. And I was like, what the heck in the world does eating your teeth mean? But in the post, it talked about this woman had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the people at her funeral at the eulogy were talking about all of the things that she had done for them and how much she had, helped build them up and all of these things. And the person that was attending the funeral was like, I don't want this to be my legacy. Mm-hmm. I don't want other people to be at my funeral talking about how I made them better and how I sacrificed for them.
Mm-hmm.
That this is what I'm remembered for, is basically being a slave to other people's emotion and not taking care of myself and not investing in me. Mm-hmm. And all I did was extend myself out to others. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes to the point of my own detriment. Mm-hmm. And I was like, when he said that statement, it made me think about that, like how, of course, we don't have all of this backstory, but like how many times over the years has she put herself in a position where she has sacrificed, she has, in spite of her own needs, put him and or other people in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
She was willing to stay in an unhealthy marriage for the sake of him and their career.
Yeah.
Status
definitely will do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then about self-esteem, self-interest, self-worth, self-concept, all of those self-whatevers.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't foster, build, feed that part of yourself, then you will make decisions that ultimately don't feed you.
Yeah,
that don't pour into you.
Yeah. That is true.
So that was just something that I thought was so small and so short, but I was like, this is such a seed for the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was another part in there that just kind of struck me, was right before they get to the part where they are at the photo shoot. She says something that the people you love most are gone if you don't pay attention. So this is when they were all fading. They were at the Essence the last time, and they were all kind of fading away. And that's what made me think about, relationships are intentional. If you don't invest in them, if you don't pay attention to the people around you, of course, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You're not moving forward together.
Mm-mm.
You're moving forward, just not together.
Right. Because life keeps rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the movie starts off officially with Ryan being at some sort of photo shoot or something like that. And
I thought something that Ryan said right before it went into that was, hold on, let me get it. You're so busy trying to get what you want, when you look up, your crew is gone. I thought that was very important, we tend to talk about how difficult it is to develop relationships when we become adults and graduate from college or, things like that. And I was like, because they were so close, if they would have stayed in touch and continued to just be in each other's lives in some sort of way, she wouldn't have had to lose her crew. Just because you become an adult doesn't mean that you stop having fun. It doesn't mean that you stop living life. It doesn't mean that you only have to focus on work, your husband, your children. Like, that's how we lose ourselves. But, and I know I'm gonna say this probably a little later, because that Flossy Posse was her mirror. And you need those type of relationships around you to remind you, no, I need to have fun. I need to have a life. I need to have a social life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I thought that was important.
Yeah, I agree. So the movie officially kind of kicks off with her at a photo shoot of some sort, and Liz comes up to her and says, "Hey, girl, you've been invited to be the keynote speaker at Essence Fest." And having been to Essence many times, I was like, I ain't never heard of no keynote speaker.
They do have a keynote.
I've heard of them having a keynote speaker, but I have not heard of it being this big of a deal. I think it depends on the stage that you're trying to go to.
Okay. I was like, I ain't never heard them being a feature. Most of the times it's about the concerts, but I was like, okay. Right. But she's been invited to be the keynote at Essence. And of course, who's going to turn that down? Seriously, you know how much exposure that is? Mm-hmm. So she says yes. And she's like, oh man, this is my time. I'm about to get my girls together. Flossy Posse, Flossy Posse. So, that was like, okay. So then it moves on to, there's this is what I hate about movies, because it becomes these short little scenes that don't, at the beginning, that don't really make up a scene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just the getting caught up where they at today.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there was another thing. There was a piece in there that somebody was asking her about starting a family. I believe it was Sunny Hostin.
Oh, yeah. At the interview.
Yeah. Was the interview where she was asking Ryan and Stewart about starting a family. And I was like, man, that is such a disrespectful question. And it popped up several times in this movie. And I'm like, that's such a disrespectful question to ask a person, because you have no clue why a person is childless.
Yep.
Yes. And I wrote in my notes, we need to make it a thing to not ask women when they're going to have a child. When I get pregnant, that's when I'm going to have it.
Right.
You asking me is not going to make me be like, oh, babe, they asked me when we're going to have children. Let's try tonight. I mean, we can try, but You see what I'm saying? That's not going to make me be in a hurry. When I get pregnant, that's when I'm going to decide to have kids.
Or I want to be childless.
It just ain't their business. That's how I look at it. It's not your business.
True.
What goes on in there. If we have a relationship like that, then definitely I don't have a problem with having that type of conversation. But it's important to not force your opinion of what I should be doing with this stage of life. Because if that's what you want to do, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily something I may want to do, or it may be something I want to do, but I can't.
Right.
Or I don't want to right now.
Exactly. All of those things. Mm-hmm. I just hate that that's a question that still gets asked even today.
Mm-hmm.
And people know that it's a question that has the potential to be hurtful. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be, of course, to every person, but it has the potential to be hurtful.
Right.
Or triggering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
So then we kind of get the synopsis of where all of the ladies are at. So we learned that Sasha was at one point in time a Pulitzer, Nobel, one of the two, some award-winning
journalist
who has turned into basically a gossip columnist, and is not doing so well for herself financially. Taking this turn in her career has not panned out the way that she probably would have hoped it would have been.
And we're going to get more juice on that later.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Dina does. I couldn't quite figure out.
She got an office job.
Yeah, I was like,
all I know, she's in that office, ignoring everything her supervisor is telling her.
Everything. I was like, man, she got a lot of confidence.
She does.
And she said, basically, I don't know what you're talking about. You didn't fire me.
Right.
I'll be here on Tuesday.
and also beat that man up over something trivial.
And then threatened him after she got reprimanded and fired.
Stitches get stitches. But I mean, I done saw some people go off about you touching they lunch.
Right.
Yes.
Or they food, or we've had incident here before.
And I get it. I completely understand being upset. Like, I paid for that. I brought that. I had my mouth all ready and set for whatever it was that I had in the fridge.
And how you accidentally, you knew you didn't bring it, how you accidentally eat somebody else's food.
Right. Because we just both happened to bring spaghetti inside of a country crock container.
Really?
Nice.
But I was like, man, I said, she's such a hot and cold type of character. She's almost like an anti-hero. Somebody that you love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
There are aspects of her that's like, dang, girl, you doing way too much. Mm-hmm. But then there's this other part that's like, but I would love to have you around. Right. But I see why they have you. I see why you are a part of the group.
She was rapid cycling. I was like, oh my gosh, she's just all over the place.
It was definitely hard to, she's a hard pill to swallow.
In real life.
Yeah. But once you swallow it, it's like, whew,
okay. Small doses. Small
I'm glad
doses.
I did. Then we move on to Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, ooh, neurotic much?
Man, I'm like OCD.
Yes.
But she became a totally different person than who she was, in her younger years.
Oh, yeah.
And it made me wonder.
She was married too, so marriage probably changed her a lot.
And I was thinking that because within her kind of mini story arc, they were showing that she'd gotten divorced.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, well, how did that change her as, an individual? Of course, being married, having children, then subsequently being divorced, becoming a single mother, now living with her mother. How has that shaped who she is? And it seems like her children have a lot of allergies. So maybe, they could be real or imagined, who knows? But it seemed like her children had a lot of allergies. So, how has that also played into if she was already an anxious by nature type of person and kicked that up a notch?
I think she became somebody that she wasn't in that marriage. Now, whether that caused the marriage or him being just who he became, but I think she lost herself. And that is ultimately how she has gotten to be this on top of everything person, even in her friend group.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, I thought the same thing with the Dr. Walsh said, but then I thought, because she had probably become this person that we saw, and she's, ended up getting a divorce. I was like, I wonder if she felt like she needed to control something. And then she became, as people do, OCD or anxious, and OCD tendencies came out.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it, of course it could be a lot of things.
Yeah. That definitely could be a reality. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we move on to Ryan. And of course we learn that she is a best-selling author, motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Have it all type woman. And she's just that girl. Mm-hmm. And she has just been recently, offered the Chip and Joanna. She got a line at Best Mart.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like a talk show. Was it a talk show and a line at?
Well, she was getting ready to get that.
Yeah, I think that's why she was going to New Orleans to meet Beth. I think Beth is the one who was going to offer her that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So Liz was letting her know that it was on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I was thinking, Liz, you are also doing way
the most.
Culture vulture.
Girl. And that's her harassment that she had going on.
That's what I was talking about. The way she was hugging him and I was like,
his wife.
And Ryan didn't say a word. She was just standing
really
there
don't
like,
want him, but
True. In hindsight, because in the beginning, when you watch it from the beginning and you haven't seen, you're like, girl, what in the world? Why you ain't said nothing? She just, oh yeah, you feel so nice and tight.
I was so grossed out. I was like, oh,
like he looked uncomfortable. She looked uncomfortable, but Liz was just in hog heaven.
Right.
But that's them not having boundaries.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Ryan had gave Liz the rules for the weekend. And Liz was like, I'm not even offended. You shouldn't be. Why would you be offended?
I mean, she did say it really well, though. She really did. I was like, makes sense. I was like, hey, don't say none of this stuff. Okay.
Right.
But then she still proceeded to be like,
she was all up in the AAVE. I was like, come on now.
I was like, it's so cringe.
It is. And why do they always talk like that?
It's so cringe.
I was like, that's stop it.
And I would venture to say that most Black women don't talk like that. No. Of course, there's a subset that do, that have that very, stereotypical style of speech and sound of speech. But for the most part, if you were to take us all as a collective, I would venture that most of us don't talk like that.
And there's a difference.
When we making jokes and stuff like that, we might.
But it's still a difference in the level. Like we could be like, girl, and then she's like, girlfriend. I was like, what are you doing? You went to a whole caricature of what we were doing. Like, come back down to earth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I had seen this video on, I believe it was TikTok, and somebody had, I don't know, my source material, I can't remember. But the thing they said, where would white women and gay men be if Black women didn't exist? Because when you think about what you see, at least on the media, that's the mimicry or that we tend to get is this caricature of what people believe Black women look like. And this part of this movie made me think of that video that I saw. Because I was like, that's exactly what she's doing. She is enacting what she thinks is cool behavior. Like, no, you just look suspect.
I follow a lot of social media platforms that recently were giving props to Black women for their influence into drag culture and the gay community and things like that. And they had this whole montage, and I was like, "Oh, that's so nice." I was like, "Oh, we don't know to get stuff like that." I was like, "I don't know. Do I cry? Do I go hug somebody? I don't know what to do," because it was just so like, oh,
unusual.
Somebody saw me.
Yeah. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, but I forgot.
So then we move on to the airport. And Dina and Lisa are there first.
Girl.
And the polar opposites.
Lisa going through this bag of toiletries, and girl, I was like, man, we wasn't even in COVID, and you got all this.
I mean, that's me, y'all. Y'all know that.
I'm just like, ma'am,
not the craziness, but the organization.
But I ain't got to take it out. I ain't got to take it out.
Right. It was like she had the triple, quadruple, sextuple check that she had brought everything.
Yes.
And it's like, you got it. The first time you checked it, it was there. And then the second time, I get the double check. But with the, octuple check, I don't understand.
And that outfit and her walking around with that neck pillow.
Yes.
I said, girl, you got on. And then she had the Vera what's the brand?
Vera Bradley
Badgley, whatever. Them bags. It was just so many patterns.
It was a lot.
I said,
color.
I said, stop
bright.
it.
It was very bright.
Said she got to stop right now. You the littlest person in this group, and you got on the most patterns.
She does.
Yes.
This movie also made me remember how small Jada Pinkett really is.
Yes, because we forget.
I was like, she's tiny, like she's short and small.
I think she's like 5'1", maybe.
Yeah, something like that. But polar opposites, because Dina again. I was like, she
came up
a lot to
She's
take
so
in.
Inappropriate.
And hid the drugs in her booty.
Because it's a booty hole.
Booty hole.
I was like,
booty hole. I was like, girl, don't say that no more in this airport.
And I'm like,
how? What are you doing? Why can't you get an infection in your booty hole? Lisa, what's the girl named Dina?
Because you can't.
Because you can't.
Because it's booty hole.
I mean, it's skin, ma'am. You can get an infection anywhere. Don't do that. And how did she learn how to be a drug mule?
Really?
No, I'm saying how does she? Because the whole lifestyle is rough.
Right.
That's exactly how she learned.
Yes.
I was like, Dina is one of those friends that, again, small doses, but you need her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
She that one that you go like, girl, can you ride with me over to such and such house?
Right.
She, before you even let it finish out your mouth, she already knocking on the door.
Exactly.
You know, like those people have a specific place in your life. I think she just didn't mature with that as she got older. Yeah. You know, because I could see her when they was in college being that rah-rah and that intense. Yeah. But you know, as you age, you would hope that rah-rah would settle down some. But it just didn't seem like it did.
No.
Yeah.
Girl, but when she sprayed that hand sanitizer in her mouth, and Lisa said, because of where your mouth probably been, it ain't gonna hurt it.
Yeah, you need
it's clean. It's clean.
It's been sanitized.
Yes.
Sanitized in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. So of course then Ryan shows up, you know, and they do their whole the
Flossy Posse.
Yeah, the cackling thing that we like to do as women. So of course they do their thing and, you know, talk about catching up and all that kind of stuff. And then Sasha shows up.
And you can immediately tell that there was tension between her and Ryan.
Yeah. That awkwardness of like, hey, hey girl, how you doing? Yeah.
Dina cracked me up talking about, no, these heifers is plastic.
Because it was true.
Yeah.
Just as stiff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so then I'm like, okay, so what happened? Of course, you find this out later in the film, what happened. But what I did appreciate, even though that they had some sort of awkwardness, weirdness, or situation that occurred between them, that Sasha didn't allow that to stop her from going to be with the group or support Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can look past that because ultimately at the core, we are still friends. Even if we got this weirdness going on between us right now.
Yeah. And I think that's what people have to understand. It's, you know, as we get older, you're not going to never have a ought with your friend. There's, and the thing about it, aside from you know, sleeping with my husband, or if it was a male, you know, a wife or whatever, and putting your hands on me, it ain't nothing we can't talk about. And you stabbing me in the back, being disrespectful and stabbing me in my back.
Right.
Other than that, if it's just a disagreement or we don't have the same opinion about something, or, you know, what, that's we can talk that out.
Yeah. And I think people forget that a lot of times that, you know, conversation is not as hard as we make it out to be. We just don't like sitting in negative feelings.
Right.
You know, there's something that we just kind of feel, you know, some kind of way about because it's too much, it's too hard, we're too insert whatever it is, versus if we would just go ahead and have this conversation, have this discussion, we can get out whatever this frustration is. And then it doesn't turn into, now I'm mad that you're mad, or you're mad that I'm mad, but we don't remember the original thing that we're mad about.
Exactly.
And now we just mad to be mad at each other.
Right.
But then they get on the plane, and I was like, why anytime I've ever been to Essence, the plane ride ain't never been as live.
Right.
Where these planes be at?
Right. Yes.
Because I be seeing these viral videos sometimes with like the Southwest people, and they just on the plane jamming and stuff. Why I haven't never been on the party plane?
Right. Like, do I need to start flying first class? Do they do this in first class or something?
Okay, buying rounds of drinks and stuff. I'm like, where they do that at?
Yeah.
And definitely now in these COVID times, that definitely ain't happening. But I was just like, I would really like for this to take place for me on the plane one day, but it is what it is. But you can see that they get a little bit into some of the nitty gritty of the friendship here as well. It's a slight introduction of what's going on, but not the full deep dive.
Right.
Because when I was thinking they were talking to Lisa about being a prude. And
yes.
She needs some of that good D. Vitamin D out in these streets. And how she used to be such, much more of an active, engaged person in her life. And she's just kind of let life fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that they hold each other accountable in some ways. Now, there are definitely some ways they've let some things slide over the years, but for the most part, it seems like they try to hold one another accountable as much as, they know how to in the moment. Yeah.
And I like that they received it. It wasn't like, oh, you got me messed up, type of stuff. It was they received it. And even if it did hurt, that's what I think people also have to understand is that when you're having these types of discussions with friends, both of you or one of you gonna have hurt feelings, and it's okay for your feelings to be hurt. Just because your feelings are being hurt, it doesn't mean that it didn't need to be said. It just means that that's an area that you may need to mature in.
Yeah, agreed.
It ain't always about somebody hurting you. Sometimes your feelings is hurt because it hurt you to hear the truth about yourself. It's not necessarily that they did anything to you or they were being mean. If they tell you your breath stink and you embarrassed, then hey, get over it and brush your teeth better, go to the dentist. Whatever it is.
You said people ain't out here just making up stuff just to be making it up.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Okay. All right. So, after they do their little dancing thing, like I said, I wish I could find a flight like that. But the ladies land. Now we in New Orleans. And they start doing, I don't know what that thing is called, where they with the umbrellas and
first lining.
Oh, I didn't know what it was.
First line and second lining.
Yeah, I was like, dum, 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 bum, 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 bum. I was like, oh, they be doing that stuff. So they, of course, dancing in the street. And then Lisa sees Young Thing.
Yeah, she see 21. I would have saw 21 too.
Yeah, he was looking all so fine. Good. I said, look at her getting all gushy over there. She was just like,
Out of all them people, he stood out.
Them eyes locked. And they followed each other. And I was like, okay. So then they are also down. Now they down on the street dancing again. And I was like, when the women came up and asked for a picture of Ryan, I was like, I felt two ways about it. I understood, because you're a fan and you don't see famous people normally, just walking around in everyday life. But I also was like, this makes me think of Britney Spears and how, she ended up having a breakdown just from, constantly being on and people, you don't have any privacy. And because they just interrupted her group, stepped in, pulled her away. Like there was no asking. There was no, she did kind of ask, but it was one of those asks where it's like, but you're coming with me.
Like giving you room. No.
Right. So I was like, I can imagine as a celebrity or somebody that's easily recognizable. Let me put it that way. Somebody that's easily recognizable, how frustrating that can be, because if I say no, or if I act up, or if I, get an attitude, then that becomes a problem. And then that's the news. So then now I got to address that. So, if she says no or has an attitude or something like that, that becomes a thing that people are now trying to address. So it doesn't give the person that is recognizable a chance to really be human, So that was one of the things that I didn't like. And then the friend came over and was like, "Oh, are y'all friends with Ryan?" And she did give the drinks, and she was a little bit sweeter, but it's like, dang, we came here to have fun.
Yeah. And the life of a celebrity.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, I do agree with what you're saying, but that is the life of a celebrity, I think, I think people definitely need to be more considerate of when people are trying. But a lot of times when you in New Orleans, I mean, I think people expect for you to like, you out here. So you want to be approached, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. You with the people. You're not out here with other celebrities. Yeah, I get it. Because it makes me think about times I've been to either All Star or Essence. And you do when you down on Bourbon and Canal and shoot all the other streets that are around there. You do see celebrities because I saw, I'm not gonna say his name, but he played on the show called The Game. I'm not gonna say who it was. Was pissy drunk at All Star one year. Just on the corner. And I was like, dang. So you do see it.
Yeah, we saw Hezekiah Walker. He was just walking right on past. We said, "Hey, Hezekiah," and we just kept walking.
So you do see celebrities, but you also got to remember that they are people wanting to have fun too.
Exactly.
Their hair down.
Yeah, I think that gets forgotten. But in the midst of this all happening, Sasha gets a photo of Stewart and Simone, the side piece. And if y'all don't remember about side pieces, go back and listen to last week's episode. So the side piece, and he's all lovey-dovey, touching on it and rubbing on it, kissing on it and everything in the picture.
What that made me think about is like, dude, you are in the limelight. I mean, I know that don't mean nothing, whatever, but you supposed to be living a life of having everything. And so I guess you really are gonna have everything. Your cake and your
playing his role, right? That's how I keep looking at it. Like every time I watch this movie, I'm like, this dude was not playing his role. Like, why would you be all out in the public with your side piece when you're trying to do all this next level stuff with your wife? Like,
and create an image that the thing that you're, the next level you're trying to get to is based off of an image. And even if y'all hate each other, the point is your brand is based off the image. So you technically, if you were going to step out, should have had the NDA all ready to go beforehand.
On site. You should have had the digital copy and she could have docu-signed it.
Right then. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to go ahead and what's your email? So I can send you this real quick.
Right.
He was not doing his thing effectively. Excuse me, guys. This was also where I was like, man, see, this is Dina again. I was like,
yeah, you could tell she was boiling. She could not hold water.
No, she was waiting. She said that was an opening.
Yes.
And I took it. And I was like, was it an opening? Or are you making it?
But see,
somebody cracked the window and he was like, zoom.
The thing about, I put in my notes right here, I said, Dina is the friend you need because she will, she gonna tell you. However, there is a right time to do it though.
That's literally what I wrote. I was like, she's a ride or die. And I said, but she's also the best and worst in what you would hope to have as far as a friend is concerned. She's great, and because she is going to tell you like it is, she going to be there to support you and all that. But her timing was horrendous.
Like
her delivery was
Band-Aid off. Like she didn't try to peel it off. She just
her delivery could be very emotionally damaging.
Yeah.
Had Ryan not already knew.
Yeah, that was my problem, was the delivery, not necessarily the timing, because there's not going to ever be a good time in that weekend to tell one of your besties that they husband out here.
But we just got finished doing, we talking, we was on a high and you was like, Hold on.
You could have waited until we got in the bed, got back to the hotel, and was like, hey, look, hey.
Because then we could have drank some wine, all that. Now I'm all upset in the middle of the day.
Well, you're going to see she ain't going to be able to get to the hotel. So, I mean.
That is true. That's true, too.
That is true.
The other thing I was thinking about, I've stayed at the Monteleone. I was like, where are these rooms at? Because I've stayed there several times. And I was like, I ain't never seen no room that looked like the one they was in.
The one, their actual room or the room her husband was in?
Their actual room. I was like, I ain't never seen no room like that at that hotel. I said, they must be the ones at the top, because
probably
the rest of the rooms don't look nothing like that. They itty bitty.
Yeah. The rooms I remember staying in, one was like a regular size one, but then the other one, they were little bitty.
Yeah, I was like, what room is at Monteleone? Where can I find these rooms at? Is these are like $2,000 a night rooms or something?
You have to plan for a year ahead.
Okay,
two. Gonna say two.
Because you know, Essence, them hotel prices
they be
high.
Yeah, high for that little bitty box.
Yes. And then I was like, I wrote it again about Dina. I said, boy, this ride or die. It makes me wonder, what is she that way with her when she's in a romantic relationship? Because they don't show her in any type of partnership.
Probably.
Because she was like a bull in a china shop.
Well, I mean, they do show her love interest and people that she like and how she flirts. So I would assume that she is like this. This is who she is.
Very dominant. Very alpha female. If you're gonna go with that, that mindset. She's very alpha in that way.
Yeah.
But after Dina told her and she was like, I already knew, and this, that, and the third, I was like, they kept talking to her, and her friends are the mirror that she needed, but you got to look in the mirror.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Ryan needed to be smacked across the face.
And
she was like,
girl,
I already know. I've known about it for months.
Yeah, but that was a new picture. You know what I mean? Because she tried to get out of it. And she was like, oh, yeah, I already knew about all of this. These are old pictures. And then, Sasha was like, no, this is a new picture. He's here. This is from last night.
And I was like, she's minimizing.
Yep.
And that was the big thing that I wrote. She's just minimizing this experience. And for the Psycho 101, for that don't know what minimizing is, it's basically the reverse of making a mountain out of a molehill. So it really is
a mountain.
It really is a mountain, and you're turning it into a molehill. So this was something that needed to be addressed, like, significantly in her marriage and within herself. But at the moment, she was just choosing not to.
And she was also in denial about what is really going on. And the thing about it is, it was right in her face, and she was still in denial and minimizing.
Oh, yeah. Boy, them distortions, they a hell of a drug, boy. So then, she tells him go down to the carousel bar or whatnot. And lo and behold, if they don't see Stewart, over there talking with a lady.
I said Dina slapped the shit out of him.
She did. She broke that bottle.
Girl.
Slow-mo, everything. It was like, oh, you would have thought that was her man. That's how hard she went.
And everybody was there with her. They weren't necessarily agreeing with all the methods, but they had her back.
Oh, yeah. Each of them are like levels. You have like a level 2, a level 4, and then Dina's somewhere like level 20.
100.
She's such a walking contradiction, because you can appreciate the rawness of her, but the rawness of her is also a lot to handle. Because there is an authenticity about her that can be appreciated.
You do have to have a special type of bond with her to be able to, because she could be, she could be the way some of her exaggerations are. It could be a turn away.
Oh yeah, I agree. It takes a special group of individuals to be able to digest and turn her energy back down.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to have a way to be able to talk to her to bring her from, they got
to catch her at the right time, because if she's already gone, she gone. Because that slapped the shit out of and the breaking of the bottle, she was already gone. Y'all weren't gonna change her mind.
Because she even went in on the auntie. You're nasty. Your family line is nasty.
Like, don't she look? She looked way too old for him to be the one that he having the affair with. Now, not older women can't have an affair, but I'm just saying.
Right. And that lady was like, oh, wait a minute, who are you? It was just a lot going on. It was a lot. And then Lisa, I'm so disappointed in you. I was like, can you not be a mother?
Right. I mean, all of them gave they version of a talk down too.
Yeah. Okay. So then, of course, all the commotion is going on, and now the hotel security's involved, and Dina's still holding on to the bottle. And Ryan's there trying to calm the situation down. And of course, Stewart, like, he want to press charges and all this.
Like, you're such a punk. You want to press charges because she slapped the shit out of you. And once you find out why, then what? Seriously? Yeah. And you made your wife go to another hotel.
He didn't care.
Clearly. And I was like, there goes again, another throwback to that beginning where she will put the needs of others ahead of herself. So even still in that moment, she was trying to protect him.
Yep.
Versus protect herself. And she was also protecting her girls too, because she ultimately got them not to press charges against Dina, but you were still accommodating him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that was doing dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
She let him play on that successful card. That's what he always went back to, because he knew that's the way to manipulate her. Talk about how successful they gonna be, and this, that, and the third. And that's the card that he continued to use.
Mm-hmm.
He got that mouthpiece.
He did. Because one of the things he said to her was, our brand is who we are.
But it ain't, sir. It don't even go together.
But you ain't even
There you go. That was the thing. But you aren't even abiding by that. So how can you say that? It's the manipulation for me.
Yeah. Right. And I like the fact that Ryan called him out, even though she didn't stick to it, but she called him out. She's like, you're the one not sticking to the plan, and you need to get your side piece in check. Why is she not in check?
Girl, and when he said, well, how am I supposed to reach her? She said, however you reach her when she wants some.
Yes, that part. And he was like, we got to do our dance and handle our business. Again, you're lying, sir. It's the manipulation.
The only person that's doing what they're supposed to do is your wife. So you want to be able to do everything you want to do, and she's supposed to play the part.
Mm-hmm. I was like, he just lying. Mm-hmm. Lying.
Right.
So of course they end up getting kicked out the hotel, and they end up at Hotel Hell
because there is no open availability.
And of course, it's Essence weekend.
Yeah.
If you didn't book your hotel 6 months ago,
it ain't.
Good luck. And I would even say Airbnb, because that existed at the time this film was made.
Mm-hmm.
But they, of course, end up at Hotel Hell, and it's a prostitution location.
Mm-hmm.
And that little old man come up and try to, sell them or pay them $5 to give them, do something strange for that little piece of change.
When I first saw this movie, I saw that man standing
naked,
bucket naked,
showing everything. I said, okay, this what we doing. Okay.
I said, this where this movie going.
Yeah,
my kind of movie right here. He was like, F y'all. I was like, look at him and little stuff.
I wonder how he feel like as an actor to have his real body parts all over TV.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Well, hey, he did something strange for a piece of change.
I'm sure he was well compensated.
Yes. Oh, I would hope so. So then, of course, they're, now they're just kind of talking, doing their thing, and they're getting ready for the go out that night. Everybody looking fly, got their outfits. So fresh and so clean.
To go to church, to Methodist church.
No, she definitely had that LDS going on.
She looked like she was a Puerto Rican grandmother.
She did. I said she had the daisies on the collar and the buttons.
First of all, why would you even bring something like that to Essence? Like, why is that even in your suitcase?
Knowing your friends. You know these other three ladies. Yeah, you know how y'all used to turn up.
Why do you need handcrafted garments from a Guatemalan tribe?
That's like almost
in Essence. Yes. Like, if you want to get it. Cool. Right. But that's not the appropriate item to wear to. First of all, it's hot. It's hot there.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we believe most of the interns that do know. But for the interns that don't know, Essence happens July 4th weekend.
Yes.
It is an oppressive heat in the boot.
Yes. It smells bad. It's
this
muggy.
Is the swamp, y'all.
It's muggy and hot.
Yes.
And you want to wear a floor length skirt.
First of all, that skirt was getting ready to be dragging on that nasty that nasty ground. That's gross.
Oh. And if you've never been to Essence, and you've been in the French Quarter area, lots of
it's the swamp.
urine smell, lots of vomit smell,
trash
smell.
It's urine.
It's rough.
Alcohol. It's ripe.
Yes,
beautiful place to be.
It is. It's a fun time.
Oh yeah.
But you got to have on appropriate clothing.
Yes. And she clearly did not. So, of course, they gave her the super extra fly, skin tight, skin out.
That outfit was bomb. And I was like, Jada.
Yes.
You going to have to be my inspiration. Now, we ain't got the same body type, but she going to be my inspiration.
I know. Because she was nice and fit.
She done had these kids. And
when Sasha already knew that she needed to shave, I was like, now, that ain't good. That ain't good.
Yeah, because that's something from her past. Like, that ain't even got nothing to do with current time. You already know. Go on, get it together.
Get it
right.
I loved it. So then, of course, now they are walking down, going to the Superdome, to the concerts. So I'm assuming this is probably Friday.
Yeah.
So Essence, the concerts are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So this seems like this is the Friday concert, and I was like,
on all white, all white is maize.
Yeah, all white is Sunday. So Sunday is white. But I was like, just in this whole little section of stuff going on here, I said, you can tell Lisa been out the game.
Girl.
For a minute.
She was rough.
Like, she has no game.
She been out.
I mean, she eventually got it back, but
she did.
The stuff she was saying, I was like, ma'am, would you, some of this stuff, you wouldn't even say this to your clients, to your patients.
No, it was a lot.
I'm like, and unless you know that you getting ready to have a one night cheap stand, why are you talking about the sexual status?
Well, that was the purpose of her putting herself out there, though.
I know that, but she wasn't there yet. She wasn't there yet.
Her head
right.
She was.
Okay. I was just like, girl.
Oh, Lord.
Are you trying to beat them away? Like, what are you doing? And then also in this set of scene, we have Ayorinde confronting Sasha and reading her.
Beloved.
She did.
Yes.
And I was like, this kind of gives me how people do towards Wendy Williams. You know, how people kind of come at her and say that you don't take my life and the reality into consideration. Like, this is just for headlines and just to, build yourself up. And I thought that this was like the first step towards Sasha's reality of, is this really what you want to be doing? You've now been confronted hard by somebody that was hurt by what you said.
Yeah.
And then I also was thinking, how does Ryan have the nerve to tell Sasha not to work when the whole reason that they're there is because Ryan needs to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But see what I thought about because I thought about that same thing. And I was like, no, Ryan just don't want Sasha to work on Ryan's life because now she got a piece that she could talk about with Ryan's life.
True.
My thought process in that scene was more so what Ryan said about people feeling uncomfortable, especially because people recognize her. And with Ayanla coming up and other people, I wouldn't want to be even anywhere near Ryan and her crew because, okay, I can't enjoy myself because y'all gonna be sharing stuff about me. You don't need to be sharing about me. So I was like, oh, Lord, y'all don't start arguing and fighting already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it just had a sprinkle of hypocriticalness.
Mm-hmm.
I get I get the point, but yes, there was some definite hypocritical nature and undertone to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with what you were saying, Dr. Jones, that she didn't want her to work on her life because this whole picture thing is out there now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you don't really have that much room to talk, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because had you not been asked to be the keynote speaker, would y'all even be here?
Mm-hmm.
Because it had already been 5 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is another point where I saw Lisa being the peacemaker of the group because she obviously saw that interaction between Sasha and Ryan, and she came over and kind of interfered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You start to see the roles everybody plays.
Mm-hmm.
Friendship. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much going on in the world right now, and we could all use some extra support. At Balanced Beacon, we offer counseling services for individuals, couples, families, and groups. If you're in Texas, give us a call at 214-396-6503 or visit our website at www.balancedbeacon.com for more information. And then we see Julian. Enter Julian / Larenz Tate.
Yep.
Looking all fine.
That man
is himself.
Doesn't even make sense.
I know.
Like it really doesn't make any sense. And I can't communicate. Just looking at him is like, and he's so pocket size.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And it's just wonderful. But you
don't need no whole bunch. You don't need a big size of that.
No,
that's too much.
Oh gosh, yeah, that might be too much. Oh, be like, I can't handle it. Be a fangirling over here. So they see him, and of course they do their catch up thing and all that, as friends do. And you can tell that there's some chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Or some backstory or back history there. Of course, they don't dive into what it is.
I do wish they would have done that. That's the only thing.
Because you can tell that there's some tension.
Yeah.
But and so it's like, okay, did they used to date? Did they were they friends and that they wanted things to go further and they just didn't? I mean, there's just a lot of different ways that could have gone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else happens here. Lisa sees Young Thang again. And they do their little flirt action.
Mm-hmm. She trying to call her kids.
Mm-hmm.
In the club.
Because she got to check on them. And of course, there's no ability to do that because you got to protect the celebrities and people that are inside the dome or whatever. But he suggests, hey, you want to get on my shoulders. So, the higher you are, maybe the receptionist. But I said, okay. Okay.
I know. I was like,
first of all, I was like, I did not know. I didn't realize.
It can happen with any woman. You need the right man with the right arms and neck.
That is very true. Very true. Very
well.
True.
First of all, I did not realize she didn't have on any underwear.
What?
Yes.
I realized she didn't have on any underwear, and she was facing him.
Well, the first time she was the right way, and then I said, oh, now you didn't put it all. Y'all, when I watched this, I said, so she about to get into another entanglement. I said, oh, wait, wrong.
She had
this ain't Jada. This is Lisa.
Okay. I was thinking that same thing throughout this movie. I was like, boy.
Because the way she acts,
ever
since Jason's lyric, we know her scenes be
serious.
So I was like, oh Lord, she didn't turn this baby out.
Okay, because he's young for real.
Yeah.
Maybe not as young as they try to make him in the film, but I think he is young for real, in his 20s probably.
Yeah, he's a baby.
Then they have this scene where, you know, they're all kind of sitting and talking with Julian, and they're doing these subliminal messages back and forth. And he basically says, look, I only need one woman. I don't need a whole bunch of ladies. And then they go Ryan over in the corner like,
You don't know my language.
But Dina always got to mess up the moment.
She does.
Because she was just acting a fool.
Yes.
Especially when they get up to go to the stage.
Yes. Oh my God.
The pasties, the jiggling of the meats on the top.
She knew what to do to get on stage.
She did. I respect it.
I'm surprised Diddy played this role though, because you know Diddy don't really like people all up on him. He's a very kind of standoffish celebrity.
Yeah,
and you could tell in the filming of this movie.
Yeah, because he was like, okay. But she got up there. She did her thug thizzle. You know, she creates memories, because that was one of the things that I wrote about Dina, is that having a friend like her, you have memories.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I saw that when she, at the same P. Diddy scene. I was like, she is a lot, but she will, y'all will have a good time and y'all will remember it.
Yeah. And she's one of those types of friends that helps you create life. You know, when you look back on your life, am I disappointed with the way that I lived? Because she's going to hold you accountable in that way. Are you going to go out and have fun? Are you going to experience life? So I was like, in that way, I can definitely appreciate Dina.
Yeah.
So after the concert, you know, they talking about what they're gonna do, and here go Ryan. Oh, I think I'm gonna go lay down and go to sleep, and I gotta get up in the morning. They was like, heifer, no, we about to go out.
We in New Orleans at the Essence Festival. How you going to sleep before 12 o'clock?
And first of all, I was like, what do they mean it's before midnight? I was like, them concerts don't be over before midnight. But I was like, but okay, we gonna run with it. That's what they saying. So okay, it's before midnight. So then they, you know, go to the zip line.
Oh, hold on, 21 hanging around. Did y'all notice that?
Oh he was scooped up. Well, he didn't already put his face in it, so yeah.
Oh, that's right, because they was like, he had his arm around it, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He was part of the crew at that point.
Right.
She's so bite-sized.
She is itty bitty. Really small. So they go zip lining, and of course, you know, it goes well the first two.
That's what I was trying to figure out. What is zip line at? I ain't never seen that either.
It's up top. They don't do it hardly.
I was like, because I've never seen that.
Me neither.
It's a hazard.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that. Anytime I've been
2 years, I have never seen it.
Yeah, and I've probably been, I know, at least 4 or 5 times. And I don't think I've ever seen that. To Essence, I've been to All Star a couple of times too, but I was like, I ain't never seen that. But it goes well, you know, with the first two getting across. And then Lisa. I was like, why? Everybody knows that once the dam breaks, it's over.
Y'all know when I had to go use the bathroom, I'd be like, hey, can we stop the podcast? Yes. I have to pee right now. Because once you open them floodgates, there is no such thing as like when you got to go as bad as she has to go. There ain't no such thing as you cutting it off. And she ain't got nothing on.
Right.
She's small. So in my head, I was looking at the, the ability for her to get across. I was like, oh, she's not gonna make it. She don't weigh enough. She's not heavy enough to get across this thing. That's why she stopped in the middle.
Yeah, without enough force.
That happened to Lisa.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I was like, ma'am, you ziplining and you ain't got no panties on. It's a song called that. I do. I say it's a song. Don't sing it though.
Okay. Because I sure was about to sing it.
On the dance floor.
Just Google BET uncut. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too, that she doesn't weigh enough for her to get across, or they didn't give her enough force to get across.
Both probably, because she was really, really small.
In this film.
Yeah, I would say she was almost her low down dirty shame weight. She was small in this movie.
Yeah, she was small.
Yeah. So then I was like, girl, you knew that. Why did you not go to the bathroom at some point before?
Or go on the side of the road like everybody else do. All you had to do was just squat because you had no clothes on.
5 people that could have blocked you.
Yeah,
that's more than that, right?
Well, she has the 3 friends
and the
Julian
2 boys
and young thing. You have 5 people that could have blocked you.
Malik. I was like, what is that boy name in the movie?
Yeah, Latifah.
I don't know. I called him 21, so I don't even know.
Right. You had all these people that could have blocked you and you could have been okay. But no, you decided to hold it to the last second.
Yeah. Shout out to all my friends and loved ones that will block me.
Yeah.
Because y'all know I had to go and I've had to go to the bathroom everywhere. So I am that friend. They know. Michelle say she got to go to the bathroom. Cover because I'm not making it to the bathroom.
Yeah, she was like
on everyone.
But see,
here come Dina.
Yep, here again, your girl got your back.
Make you feel comfortable
because she was like, "Oh well, hey, if you did it, hey, let me go too." Golden showers everywhere.
All I kept thinking about was, who want to still be walking around that hot, humid weather and wet? Because that's not, as a woman, that's not a good feeling.
No. Oh, no, it's not. And I was like, oh, all them drinks that y'all I would have been so mad. I'd have been ready to fight had I been one of the people on the ground.
Well, Lisa's probably was okay. Dina's not so much.
Right. Now, luckily, I would not have been that close up under, like straight up underneath. So I probably would not have gotten sprayed. Right. But if I did, Dina, oh yeah, I'd have been ready to fight. Because that was on purpose.
On purpose, yeah.
Because Lisa was at least trying. She was screaming. And then, it just was one of them things. Once it started flowing, it stopped flowing. And the poor dudes, they didn't even know what to do. They trying to hurry up, run downstairs and like, oh my God.
Like, what y'all gonna do? Y'all downstairs. Y'all can't grab a feet and pull her over.
It didn't change nothing. No, that tell you where men head be at.
Oh, yes. It did not.
Literally.
Yeah. But, now that all the ladies get across and they get ready to go back to the hotels.
The bad one.
But then Julian is like, nah, I can't let y'all stay there. I can't do that to y'all. I was like, oh, look at him coming and being the Black Knight.
How he treating you better than your husband?
Okay, that's that.
It would have been at that moment. I said, let me go on and file these papers.
Because I was like, look at him being so respectful. And I put to her marriage, and I put marriage in quotes. Her marriage.
She was gone. She was towed up. He really could have took advantage of her.
Yes.
Yeah, I was glad that he had enough respect, like you said, had enough respect for her marriage and her.
Yes.
Not put himself in that predicament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about Polisa. She was ready. But then she wasn't.
See,
I wouldn't have been ready either. I don't need an unmedicated hysterectomy.
But you hang up the phone. I mean, what turn your phone off?
I can't. I don't want you to hit my cervix. I don't want any of those things.
Yeah.
Stop it, please.
Or prolapsing. I was like, she was like, hold up, wait a minute. What's going on here?
She said, "That's not your own."
I said, "No,
that's a monster.
That's a baby leg."
But the way she was kissing that boy, in real life, I don't think he was ready. Because I looked this time, I was like, okay, let me pay attention because I always try to look at kissing scenes. Y'all know that's my thing. But I was looking and he was looking like he wasn't expecting it.
He said, "Oh, we did it for real."
He's talking about this. What August was talking about. This what August said.
Yeah, it was a lot
because this technically would have been around that time.
Oh, it would have been. Oh, wow. It doesn't seem like that.
I was wondering that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was real authentic looking.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate that. But then of course she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna say no." And it sounds like young thing respected it. It did pressure consent.
Amen.
Because she ended up back with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing I was like, I like that Dina. I thought her prair
was so sweet,
so sweet. It was so childlike. Almost.
That's what I was. A childlike innocence.
Yes, I said in my notes too. I was like, I love her prayer. It sounds so innocent.
But that's how Tiffany, the actress, she really pray like that. Like I've heard her pray before, and she really be talking to God like that. I'd be like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it seemed very sweet. And it seemed genuine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for getting my friends back together. Thank you. I've missed them so much. I've needed them in my life. Mm-hmm. You know, it was very truthful and almost humbling.
Yeah. You know? And if anybody needs accountability, it's Dina.
Yes.
And that was the other thing that I like that she said, Jesus loved me too. I was like, you better tell the people. You better tell the people.
Because nobody knew why she was going in the bedroom. We were all kind of confused. You know, it's like, okay, we're not going to bed yet. But then, you know, growing up in a traditional Black home, you're not going to bed. You got to go say your prayers.
Yeah, I appreciated it.
Yep.
So then they wake up the next day and Ryan is hungover. So up. You can tell she don't be out there like that no more. Because I was like, how the other three ain't hungover like her? They was fine.
Well, you know, Lisa took her BC powder, you know.
Oh, she probably did. Okay, so for those that don't know, when you hit them 30s and above, take that BC powder as soon as you get to the house or to the room.
And some B vitamins.
Immediately. Because if not, you're going to wake up in a world of pain.
Yes.
Next day. But they was just having their little breakfast and
Lord.
And this is where we learn about grapefruiting.
Yes.
It is a technique.
It was hilarious.
The demonstration of this. I was like, how did they get through this scene? Because I don't know how I would have been sitting there like in real life watching that.
I feel like all these type of scenes, like the naked man, this scene, him running around like how he does later. I think those were all like first takes and impromptu type of things, because I don't think she was supposed to do all that she did.
Because I was like, how?
Yeah.
I was like, either they recorded this scene with them not sitting there.
No,
she was just doing that on her own, or they were in shock.
Her ability to stay in character, that is why I could never be an actress, because I'd be too much in my head. I'd be like, I don't feel like doing it.
I was amazed. I was like, because one, you're doing this on a banana, and everybody know that the butt end of a banana got that little rough part at the end.
She might like that. She gave it that guap 3000.
She did. I was like, girl, this is not a real thing. Your throat don't hurt.
Right. But and because the first time I saw when she choked, I was like, oh, okay, there you go. But then it seemed like she did that on for demonstration.
Theatrics.
Yes.
Yeah. Because then she said, make it look like make him feel like he's doing something.
Right.
But I was like, how did we turn food to become this sexualized?
Well,
this is real.
This is a real technique, though. There's someone that actually made this up, and they took the technique from this woman. I'm not gonna shout her name out because she's not paying us or nothing. But it's
because after I saw this movie, I went and YouTube the technique, and I was like, oh, this lady really teaching it. Okay,
yeah,
she's teaching. Okay,
yeah.
Tiffany took it to another level though, but yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I would not have been able to get through that. We would have had to do like 50 takes of this.
First of all, do you know how much you be drooling with grapefruit? I'd have grossed myself out halfway through.
I mean, it was all over her face. I was like, oh, that was real. Like this was not just like I'm a hack. No, you was going to town.
And I can only imagine everybody in there was laughing. Like they had to. I don't know how they kept quiet.
How? I don't know.
We need to find
the outtakes,
not the outtakes, but we need to find the interviewing of how they got through this scene.
Oh yeah, because I would love to see that, because that was a mess and a half. So then after their shock wears off, they go to the convention, which is the normal thing during the day at Essence. And Ryan is up there and Stewart are up there doing their thing about, I'm assuming this is like gumbo they trying to
jambalaya.
Oh, jambalaya.
Or as the white lady said, jambalaya.
Yeah, they're trying to do their little cooking segment. And who decides to show up?
Simone.
I'm like, this girl here is bold.
Bold.
She did look good in her dress, though. I'm not even gonna lie.
She
really did.
She did, but I was like, you can't come up here and try to assert your dominance in this way, in this setting. Like this was whatever point you were trying to make, it was not getting ready to be made.
And that was her girl, like the other.
Right.
You were not the wife.
You don't have the. I was like, how do you have the audacity?
Yes.
To come up here.
You knew about the wife. You knew about Ryan. So you doing this on like you the side chick.
This is what I was talking about in the previous session. She's like, okay, now I'm in competition. It's time to take over the castle. Ma'am, I built the castle. Y'all can leave and get a new one. But you're not taking this one.
But I like that when they saw her coming up, they all went up too. And I like that Ryan was getting ready to address her, but Sasha stepped in to help protect Ryan's image.
Because she'd been doing that the whole time.
Yes.
Whole friendship.
Yeah.
Which later on in the film, we'll see the whole point of that. And then of course all this subbing that they doing across with this sausage.
Girl.
I was doing.
They still talking about jambalaya?
Like, no, they are not.
Oh, Bethany.
I know.
She just was so clueless. I'm like, man, pick up. Read between the lines. Like, it's obvious what's happening here. But Ryan held her composure.
She did.
Because that's a lot.
She made a very good teachable moment with the sausage.
She did.
She did.
So then
I like that gag reflex. Sasha, you gagging now? You gagging now?
Okay. When Dina had shoved that stuff up.
Yes.
I said, boy, these some friends.
Yes.
Right, these are some friends. If you need a good set of girlfriends, this right here. Maybe tone the energy down to Dina just a smidge, but that's what you need.
But Dina did good on this one, because this is the one she really could have messed Ryan up. She's in front of the exec or whatever, and she was like, I'm just gonna stare at her.
I think she was the one that shoved that food in her mouth, though, right?
I can't remember.
Dina did.
Okay.
Yeah, Dina did. So of course they get through that scene. And then Sasha essentially approaches Ryan like, look, you need to do something about this. You need to try to get out ahead. She's trying to warn her on, because she is in this world now. So she's trying to warn her on what's to come. But, like we said a little bit earlier that, Ryan was just in denial. She didn't want to hear it. She thinks that she knows better in this particular situation. And it's like, girl, I know what I'm talking about. This is what I do for a living. So I know what people are about to start doing, but you don't want to heed my warning because you got some sort of chip on your shoulder in regards to me.
But before that, that's Sasha walked in on Ryan saying her little mantra, I'm strong, powerful, and beautiful. And I was like, ma'am, you can say all of that all you want to. And that's good that you do feed yourself that positivity, but you got a bigger problem. That's not going to help the bigger problem.
You attach to somebody that don't respect you or abide by the rules of engagement. So you can be all of that, but that still don't mean he gonna follow through.
Right.
And the thing about it is the longer you stay with him, that's not going, you're going to stop believing that. And you probably don't believe it now. You just verbalizing it.
Right. Because that's not the issue.
Right.
So then they're walking around, or at least Dina's walking around.
Yeah. She seemed to have separated from the group or something.
In some sort of way.
Yeah.
And she sees the vendor with the absinthe.
Now, absinthe, it really is the way he was describing. It is a hallucinogen.
It really is.
So when he said all you need is like a little splash, I would have said all you need is a couple of drops. Not even no splash.
And she said 5 days.
Girl.
Okay, more like 5 minutes. So she gets the absinthe. And then they cut to them getting ready in the hotel. And she not making hurricanes. She says she making
tsunamis.
Why they let Dina fix the drinks anyway? Y'all know
it's like the Hangover when they had let the brother-in-law
right
score for them.
Y'all already know what this girl is about. Why are y'all letting her fix the drinks?
And she's happy about it. It ain't even from a malicious place. She's just going in. So you don't. No.
And when you look at how much she poured, not drip, poured in them drinks, I was like, oh my God, they're going to be hallucinating for a whole month.
Tripping balls. I was like, man. And then there was another little small cut in there, and I was like, the pressure again about having children and using them as this. I was like, this is a theme that's happening in this film, and I'm like, I wish they would stop perpetuating that. But we learn at the end, kind of why Ryan and her husband don't have children. But I was like, stop pressuring people and to have children, one, and thinking that having a baby is going to do anything to save your marriage if it's rocky.
Right.
If you have a healthy established relationship, then you're already good. You got a good foundation. But if you are on shaky ground, then having a baby is not going to, cause that to.
Why would you want to have a baby by a man that's cheating? Like, what sense does that make?
Exactly. Okay, so we're getting ready to go out again. Liz shows up in the midst of them getting ready, and she partakes of the tsunamis.
And show didn't need one.
No, because she's already on some weird issue as it is.
Yeah.
But they go to the club, and oh man, the shit kicks in.
Yeah.
And it kicks in hard because things start slowing down. Them voices start changing.
Oh man, we tripping. I was like, yeah,
you are, and you will be for a while,
man. This was my scene.
Yes, at least you put some in them drinks, didn't you?
Of course, they do.
Yes,
immediately. So this whole next set of scenes is just lots of shenanigans take place. You got Liz, Stewart, Bethany, and Ryan over there trying to have a business meeting in the club for some ridiculous reason.
And first of all, Ryan, why did you drink something anyway, knowing that you have a business meeting? And Liz, you too.
Yeah.
Well, Liz don't got no sense. So business, yes.
I was like, and why are you having a business meeting in the club at night? Like, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But of course, not everybody flying high as a kite. You got Dina floating up to the stars
because she with the constellation that ain't there.
Yes. You got Sasha over here molesting the lamp,
which is played. I can't remember his name, but if anybody remember the M&M commercial with the Hispanic guy that says the milk chocolate, like I love him. He also was in one of Queen Latifah's shows. The one with Stacey Dash and Lisa Ray and all of them. But I like him as an actor. I can't think of the show.
What was the name of it?
Something.
I know. I remember the show you're talking about because it came on VH1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I do remember what you're talking
about. Is it William Levy?
Yes, William Levy.
Yeah, he's nice looking.
Mm-hmm.
She was believing that she was molesting him, but it turned out to be a lamp.
Ma'am got all her business.
And then you got Ryan over here itching, burning up.
And having visual hallucinations.
And then Poe Liz over there drinking candle wax.
Girl, when she talking about some, okay, it's kind of hot.
She drank that for real. Like she really did that. Like y'all, hot wax is not nothing to play with. You know, it comes with a whole sticker on the candle.
It does. She drank that wax and then ended up having the milk mustache of candle wax. And if I was Bethany, I'd be like, yeah, I can't give none of these people no deal. What is going on? What is wrong with these people?
See, I think she could have understood Ryan based off of the husband's explanation. But there's absolutely no reason why Liz is out here giving her red bottom as payment or drinking candle wax.
Like she was like, take my card. And the poor little waitress, she like, what? I don't understand. You blaming me for putting my mouth on your husband? What?
They made it in the drinks though, so that was a good save.
And here they thinking, the rest of the Flossy Posse thinking they way far away, and they right up on the table.
And they talk about, so we got to do Plan B.
And he was like, "What's Plan B?" But no, don't forget about Lisa. Lisa was over there. First, she saw her kids, and her kids were so creepy, talking to her like that. And then she saw Chocolate Drop, and he was
he was ready to give a little bit.
He was naked, and she was licking on the screen, and I was like, oh, COVID. That's all I kept thinking was, oh,
yeah, that was nasty.
Like, you got stuff in your mouth.
Yeah. So they just had a lot of things going on. So they leave a club and go to the second club. But in the midst of going to the second club, they get these colorful wigs. And I was like, how did you get all this hair up under these wigs so quickly? But okay.
Y'all see Jada didn't have all hers out in there.
No, she did have a little stringy string hanging. But the rest of them, I was like, oh, y'all fit that up under there. All right. And then we get into a dance-off. White chick style.
Side pieces
with the side piece and her crew. And I was like, I ain't no dancer, but I could have held mine better than this.
You sure could. I said, what are they doing?
Somebody was in there twerking, and I was like, what is happening with this gyration going on?
And they were blessed. It wasn't like they were not blessed with things, but I was like, it ain't moving.
What I don't understand is why these days, now granted I'm old school, I don't know why these days people think booty shake, if you can booty shake, you can dance. That's not dancing. Now I understand if you have an 8 count in there, but the whole routine booty shake, no, you just showed me that you can shake your booty.
But they couldn't.
I mean,
yeah. Yes, I do think that people have gotten away from
real dancing,
like dancing, like moving your body in multiple kinds of ways. But I was like, I could have done better than this, because this was about the stiffest looking dancing.
It was bad.
It was real bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, so of course the Flossy Posse is gonna win this dance battle,
right?
Because even they was a tad bit on the stiff side a little bit.
But why was Dina dancing so hard? She outdanced everybody. Said, oh, what?
Oh, yeah. When she was pop locking.
You better come on.
Oh, yeah. She was doing it. But I was like, look at them. They look so funny. And the psychedelics is still kicking in.
But my old Jada came out. The low down dirty shame Jada came out when she was like, well, mine done wore off. Jada, you better beat Jada.
Okay.
And she came back to who she used to be. Lisa was like, I'm back. now.
Oh, she said, I just needed a little psychedelic. I just need to trip a little bit. So I need to take a little trip down, on psychedelic road. So, she was back to being her old Lisa self. And then they got into a little mini brawl with the ladies of the side chick style. And then, of course, the police come. Now everybody got to scatter like roaches and, get up out of there.
But see, this is the creativity of a Black woman. You take the wig off. So they don't know it's you. And then you be like, oh my gosh,
damsel.
And then I hate when Regina go into her goofball mode and she be doing
every time she goes into that mode, the only thing I think of is Scary Movie.
Yes.
Like that's what it takes me back. I'm like, that's the Regina Hall that I know. Scary Movie 2. Because she definitely went there. Like her voice does something different. Like she changes the way she talks or something.
Yeah.
But apparently they, sent a little rescue message that they didn't know they were sending Julian. And I was like, how he get an SUV down there in the French Quarter? Because they be having that joint blocked off. So
I was like, how you right there in front of the club, man?
And you right in front of the club. I was like, man, this must have been one that's on a side street somewhere. Because it couldn't have been in the heart.
Clearly, because that was a local spot. That wasn't no club.
And just like when we had went down there and almost got shot up.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, you got to have your head on swivel.
Boy.
Girl.
It was like all of a sudden a rush of people started running. I was like, oh Lord.
Oh, where we going? Where we gotta go?
It's been a long time since I had to be in this kind of a scenario.
I don't got it in me.
But they get back to the hotel because Julian came in and saved the day again.
Yep.
This was funny.
And the chemistry again. I was like, oh, this boy.
No, the way she came back and said, you said something?
Uh-huh.
I was like, no, girl.
I was like, that hug. I was like, see, that hug feel different when you hugging somebody you want to be hugging.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she melted.
He couldn't be that close to my face. He'd have got licked.
I'm sorry. I healed it, guys. I healed it.
Dr. Strickland over here acting up.
It's okay. But I was thinking that being open and being your authentic self here is better than trying to have it all. Like if she would have just embraced, like, what, this is probably who I need to be with. My husband obviously is not giving me this feeling. It's okay for me to choose me and look at the things that benefit me. She would have had a little bit less heartache in the long run. But then also we learned that Lisa has called Young Thing and told her, come over here and drop it off. And she thought she was ready.
Well, she was ready, but what she tried to do later, it was too much.
Yeah, she tried to double grapefruit him. Single grapefruit.
And when she took that second one, I was like, ma'am, that's not gonna work.
No. It wasn't.
I mean, she really technically only needed one and then cut it in half, but
But she, hurt the poor boy.
Well, because she should have started with that, not ended with it. Because you already had rigorous interaction. So there's going to be abrasions on the skin of his member.
Yes.
And then you're going to put citrus juice in the... No.
Yeah.
Wrong all the way around.
See, the thing about when I had to remember, of course, that it was his member because he kept touching his eye, like the juice got in his eye.
It squirted in there.
Oh, okay.
He had a double whammy.
I was like, why are you holding your eye? I thought it was supposed to be on your member.
And he was screaming for real.
What?
I wouldn't be surprised if he really didn't have some
like juice in his eye for real.
And the way he was running, I said, oh, look at his little booty.
I was like, he is smaller than I thought.
He is a small, slender guy.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't realize he was that slender. I was like, oh, po thing.
But he is chocolatey.
He said, what kind of freaky old shit is this? I was like, See, young Bucky ain't know nothing about that. She didn't earn you out.
She didn't either until this morning.
Right.
He didn't know that. So of course, here comes the next day. And we see Sasha battling with whether or not she's gonna leak the photos. Because she loves a friend, but she also needs this money.
Yeah. Because and this is something we forgot to mention throughout the time so far, she's been seen with different money related problems and like still having the tags on her dresses and looking at notices of bills coming overdue, and her car got repoed. So
yeah, there's a lot going on, but they don't I guess they allude that she doesn't do it, but they don't really make it clear that she doesn't leak it or that she does. They just show you kind of her pondering over it. But we also learned that Ryan is going to continue making up excuses to keep the image of her marriage. And her friends are really not having it. They already weren't, but more and more they're becoming more vocal about like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, this is not worth it. But it's one of those things like, what are you going to do? Yeah. So one of the other things that I wrote here is because this is when they go to some other bar at the night and they're all kind of having their friend reminiscing, that kind of stuff. Her and Julian get to talking. And then Sasha gets pulled over to the side. Simone, side chick girl, trying to head over to the table.
And she gets her before she get there because she protecting her friend.
I was like, well, this girl is bold.
Right.
The capital BOLD.
I'd have knocked her head off.
But, we come to learn that Simone is pregnant with Stewart's baby. And he basically done cut off and said, girl, that baby don't look like me. And he done cut off. And she like, look, if you don't get him to talk to me, I will leak all this. I will go to the blogs. I will sell it. I'll do everything. And I got all the explicit videos and photos and text messages.
Yep.
So, of course, they got to let Ryan know. Because, now this is something you definitely can't, hide.
Right.
And I was thinking that when they kind of go back to the hotel part, that Dina, again, was like, sometimes she's that break in the pressure that you need, because she was talking about, she created a picture of the ugly baby. And if they want to have little ugly
pug babies,
a little litter of babies. I was like, sometimes she's that pressure you need to, that release of pressure that you need in a situation like that. Because you can spiral easily in a moment like that. Absolutely.
But this is also when we find out the truth about why Ryan and Stewart hadn't had children either.
And then, of course, he shows up and does his, gift of gab thing. We don't know what he ultimately says to her because they do a cutaway, but he said enough to her to get her to fall back in line.
Yep.
And, and the girls are not feeling this.
No, because it's not healthy.
And we also learn here that, she's willing to continue to lie to herself. She knows this is not what she wants. And this is not what's healthy for her. But what are you going to do? You created this image.
Yeah. The one thing I was thinking about in this scene when he first started talking to Ryan is he didn't say, I'm sorry. He didn't say nothing. He said other than she agreed to sign a document. And then Ryan asked, do you even still love me? I'm like, why do you even care?
And do you even still love him?
Right.
What's love got to do with it?
Right.
All of that.
That part. But we also learned that the story's been leaked as well. And then this is, of course, now we're hitting the climactic part of the movie. The spiral. Yeah, the spiral. The story arc it's got the fall from grace and for the build back up.
wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Another thing that I thought that was super stupid that Stewart said was Ryan without Stewart doesn't have it all. Yes, she does. She has more.
Beautiful Julian. So it's better.
Okay. Yes.
Hey, man. But once we learn that the story's been leaked and Ryan finds out, she completely overreacts.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes.
The jumping to conclusions.
Yep.
You know, if we had to go with another distortion, that's the one she went with. Maximizing and jumping to conclusions, because she was not trying to hear Sasha out at all.
Yeah, because when would she have had time to really release all of that and do the story and all that kind of stuff? No, old trifling Simone is the one that probably leaked this story, because from what they were saying, there was some intimate details about what had happened.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this is another, like, how you can get caught up in groupthink.
Yeah.
You know, because that one spark that set off the rest of the group.
Yes.
They just
I felt so bad for Sasha. I was like, man, like they all just jumped on this bandwagon.
And she really hadn't done nothing.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and they jumped on the bandwagon. You see the dynamics of the friendship, that they do tend to overprotect Ryan for some reason. You know, that she was kind of the queen bee of the friend group.
Or the weak link.
That too, you know, you could see it that way. Absolutely. Yeah. But then it also sparked a lot between the rest of them. You know, like it really was a chain reaction kind of situation, because then Dina and Lisa get into it about Lisa being parenting them, and then Dina not growing up and being impulsive and immature, and you know how y'all haven't been there for me, and y'all only, you know, have me around for this reason. I mean, it was a lot.
I think Dina needed that rant. That rant was good for her, because
she did prove what they thought of her, because she had maxed the credit card and stole stuff. But
yeah, but I think she still needed that, because I think, like you have been saying, she knew her place in the group, and you know, she needed to have that rant, because that's stuff that she has been holding in.
Yeah. The thing I wrote in my notes is like, this is what happens when you hold grudges and you know, don't let your wounds become scars.
Yeah.
Because you can tell that between the four of them, that was a lot of pent up stuff that they hadn't been saying to one another for however long they had been friends.
Yeah. And this is also where we find out about why Sasha and Ryan's friendship fell apart, actually. And to discover it actually is behind Stewart in the first place. You know, them having, you know, we're going to start I guess it was a publishing company or something of the nature in the journalism area. And Ryan had Sasha quit her entire job to get ready to start this, and then she decided to go into business with Stewart. And so that's how she even got into the whole celebrity gossip realm, because she had to pivot really fast.
And apparently it seems as if Lisa, dang, Ryan was unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really ended up hurting Sasha the most. Is, you know, you put me out here like this, and then you just was like, bye. Sorry. Sorry for you. So of course the group splits up and everybody go their separate ways. And then the next day, you know, you've got Ryan getting ready for her keynote. You've got Sasha
trying to soften the picture disclosure and trying to tell Ryan what to say. You know, she changed her whole little speech thing. And
yeah, absolutely. You see Dina and Lisa, you know, they ended up accidentally meeting up at the bar and apologizing to one another. And, you know, I think they needed that. It was one of those things, like it was a pressure cooker. You know, that whole stuff had just been building up for so many years. it had probably needed to be said in a different way, but it came out that way. And now we can apologize and move forward.
Yeah.
I still didn't like that Dina belittled herself to just the laughter of the group. Like it was like she felt like she didn't have another purpose. She didn't bring anything else to the group. I mean, even though mostly she did bring laughter, but like you have more to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is, I think now that they've had this blow up, like if we were to get more additional story for them, that we probably would see like a conversation with them as a group on how they can begin that healing part of their friendship and mending and relearning each other where they are at that stage in life.
Yeah.
So Sasha also decides to end her blog site and she apologizes to the people she's hurt. She's, discusses on how she's understanding the role she's played and taking accountability and responsibility for how her behavior has affected the people around her. And she's, making a stand to make change for herself.
And she went out with a bang because she had about 72,000 people. 78,000 people. I was like, oh, she going good.
Yeah. She had a lot of people watching. So then, now we're at they find Dina and Lisa find Sasha and they got their Flossy Posse, bedazzled jackets on. And so then, of course, as movie story goes, they must apologize. And now comes the end scenes for the buildup of the rebuild of the friendship,
the resolution.
So then Ryan is on stage, and of course Stewart introduces her as the woman that he I'm so proud to call my wife. And I was like, really?
Right.
Not really. As if you guys didn't just have old girl sign an NDA about having this baby, but okay, whatever. So then Ryan comes out and she's giving the good old speech. She's giving the speech to her publicist or manager. I'm not sure what her role actually is.
Agent.
Yeah, her agent. She's going over the speech as is. The people in the audience are eating it up. And then, in the shenanigans of the Flossy, the other 3/4 of the Flossy Posse trying to get there, they bust through the door at the nick of time. And then, of course, all the feelings start like, oh, dang, I can't go.
I was like, I put in my notes, I was like, yeah, that was the mirror she needed to see.
Like, oh, they here for me. Despite everything that just happened between us, all the things that was said, these women are really down for me.
And Julian was there too.
He was there too. In the front, maybe not front row, but he was in the front. So then she started going off script, and Stewart tried to come up there and be like, "Girl, what you doing? You about to mess up this money?" And she said, "Sit your ass down." And she said, "Sit your punk ass down right now." I was like, oh, she did that hard. And everybody was like, yeah. Yeah.
She felt that in her spirit. It was like she was talking to one of her exes that her and Tiffany share.
Yes. So I was like, get it, girl. So then, she starts to be real now and share really like, I don't have it all, and that's okay. I'm afraid, and these are the reasons why I kept this image up, and it let me be myself. Let me free myself from all of this burden that I've been unnecessarily putting on myself to begin with.
Yeah, I've been holding myself hostage to this image that society has put on me.
Oh yeah. So then, of course, she mic drops on the keynote and walks out to a standing ovation. And there go Bethany over there like, okay. They liked that. Okay. All right. So I thought this didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Okay. So,
but it's even better.
This is even better.
And what I put in my notes,
them dollar signs.
Yes. What I had put in my notes is that when as she was walking off the stage, I was like, yeah, it was almost like she got her power back. And then just understanding, like, people want the truth. Now, they might not be able to handle it all the time, but they want to know it. They want to know the truth.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It was like the Phoenix, rising from the ashes kind of thing, a woman reborn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then she's back in her little room, and then here come the Flossy Posse, and they're like, "Oh, girl, we love you. I love you too. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Everybody's making up.
I wanted some of them pastries that was in this scene. I know that's weird, but they look so good.
See, you be seeing all the background stuff. I'm like, pastries? What pastries?
They was on a whole tier on the table.
Oh, see, I missed all that. Missed it all. So then here come Liz busting in like the Kool-Aid man. And
Kool-Aid.
Okay. And she was like, oh my God, here she go with the theatrics again.
Girl, I was like, Liz, please give that up.
Yes. So here she go, and she tells Ryan, Bethany still wants to do the deal. But guess what, gal? Just you. She don't want to. Turns out single women are in.
Yeah, they're the highest population.
So, but in order to make amends and truly make amends, Ryan says under one condition.
Yeah.
And of course, she asked Sasha to be her partner.
About time.
Right.
No.
Because this is also Ryan's now. I got to take responsibility for how I also hurt you.
Yep.
I saw how you took responsibility for contributing to the hurt of other people. So let me do the same. I can't be out here still being hypocritical in my behavior.
Yeah.
So then, of course, they agree. And then they go to the Sunday concert
and jam out.
And then you see Ryan and Julian all hugged up.
I said, let me find out.
And then they're just having a good old time. Yeah, as they should. That's a nice wrap up for a girls trip.
Now, what's y'all ratings?
Shoot. Sorry about that. I'm just hitting the mic. Out of 5? We do this every time.
Yes, you do this every time.
Oh, okay. Like, I be forgetting. Out of 5, I definitely, this is a solid 4.75 for me.
Okay.
I can agree with that. I think this is a good movie.
Yeah. It's funny. It's raunchy.
It's to the point. It has a good timeline.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you're familiar with Essence, then all of this makes sense.
Right. I was just thinking it.
So I can appreciate this film, for what it was. It didn't try to be more than what it was. And I like that about this movie. And I love that it was funny.
Yeah.
I like genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next week starts off a new month
about new things.
And I am so excited because you talking about all kind of sexy stuff.
Yes.
All kinds. So first, next week's in particular, we're talking about sensuality versus sexuality.
Laying the foundation
for things to come. And just because next month is a 3-part for the movie mental breakdown, we are going to preface this right now. So you have 3 solid weeks to watch these films. We are doing 50 Shades of Grey 1, 2, and 3.
The whole trilogy.
Yes. So go ahead and get your popcorns and your other devices so that you get ready for the month of love.
Must be his volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at The Recycled Podcast.
If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.